Greetings and welcome to Season 6, Episode number 38, Energize You TV. So excited that you're here today. And are you wondering and wanting to understand your emotions instead of feeling controlled by them? Would you like to communicate your feelings clearly without fear or frustration? You know, there was a study in 2017 at UCLA that showed that when you name and express your emotions, your brain shifts from stress mode to clear thinking. This helps you to feel more in control and you communicate calmly. And that's what you came here today, I believe, because today is the silent superpower, emotional intelligence in action. And each episode that I have for almost 7 years now is coming from the Ignite book. And out of the Ignite book is where we come up with the theme. And the name of the Ignite is Raise Your Energy in 30 seconds or less naturally, so you shine with more energy, joy, and abundance. So get your copy, come along with me. Let me sign it for you, and let's have some fun and come with me. So let's just dive right in, because we need to take a moment and just pause, because you don't want to miss the wisdom segment, because this wisdom segment is uplifting, heart-centered conversation that I'm going to have with my dear friend and lightworker, Stefani. And she's coming at us as a sales strategist, communication expert, certified DiSC Facilitator, and a professional speaker. You know, Stefani has a unique gift for helping people unlock their emotional intelligence and communicate with clarity, authenticity, and ease. And I had the pleasure of being with her personally, and wow, does she ever! I learned so much. You know, there's more to this beautiful Energize You TV show. And the first step is the connection session with the crystals. And that's when you get to learn about the crystals, not only within you, but also the minerals and the elements. It's really intriguing. People seem to like it. The next segment is the energy clearing, or the awareness, where you learn about what is energy and what does it really mean and science behind it. Then the next segment that we're going to do is the clearing. My Reiki students seem to really love that when I do a clearing and teach you how to do a clearing in 30 seconds or less. And then the next one we're going to talk about is the spirit animals. And you're going to get to learn about a spirit animal that will come into your life today, and that will be a guide for you. And everybody seems to like that one too. And then the next one is about the personal transmission. This is a calibration, an activation. It's not like a meditation, but it kind of is, but it's going to transmute energy, elevate, activate, and calibrate your energy. So you don't want to miss that either, because, you know, I know that there's a lot of you out there that are feeling stuck and overwhelmed right now. So that's what I do as a spiritual counselor and a frequency alchemist, is I help you to shift and to move into really relaxing and into your gifts and to ignite them. So go ahead and be kind and go ahead and share this out with everyone, because I know your sister, your brother, your mama, they want to know about it. So glad that you're here. Now let's just dive into the first segment, which is the energy awareness. Now, everything is energy, isn't it? Science tells us it's the hottest thing going right now. Everything is talking about energy. And you know what? Energy isn't random, is it? No, it isn't at all. And it also is moving, shifting, and responding to what we think, what we intend. Everything is our vibration. And you know what? Scientists like Albert Einstein, he said that, and he taught that everything in the universe is connected through energy. Everything we can't even see with our own eyes is connected to this energy. And being that said, you know, that have you ever walked into a room and your stomach drops and you go, I wonder what that is. And you go, but you know what? That's energy. That's when you feel energy. Or you go, hey, Stefani, I want to talk to you. Stefani, oh my gosh, I need to talk to her. And all of a sudden she calls me. That is when you feel energy. That's when you're connected to that energy. So it comes from your heart, and we've proven that the heart emits magnetic field frequency, and it carries information, and it's measurable. And that field goes beyond our body. It goes out there, and it's all frequencies that carry. And inside and all around your body is called your biofield. And it's like your own personal bubble. But the term might sound a little woo-woo, but you know what? What's even more woo-woo is the aura photo. Have you ever seen your aura? Kind of the same thing. We talk about the biofield is the science, but yet the woo-woo really is the aura, or what has been. And it's simply an electromagnetic field produced by your movements of your ions around and out of your cells. Your thoughts, your emotions, even your excitement and your stress, they all show up in your biofield. That's not just feeling, that's energy. And you are sensing this energy. And this is how you sense this energy. It is real. This is the emotional vibrational frequency chart. Now, this chart shows us right there that when you're in shame, blame, guilt, fear, trying too hard, coulda, shoulda, woulda, those lower vibrations, what happens? You don't feel as well. But when you move up to acceptance and willingness and reason and love and joy and grateful gratitude, peace and compassion, what happens? You start to feel better, right? You start to feel better. And I get this all the time. Angel, most people know I'm diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, Sjogren's, neuropathy in my hands and my feet, and Epstein-Barr syndrome. I'm in chronic pain most of the time. But how am I coming to you in this vibration? Because you put your energy into a place of what? Of joy, of what it said on the chart, the grateful gratitude, the peace and compassion for my life. And you stay in that energy, and it shifts. And that's also what I do in my special work. And what I do in my special work, it's called a frequency alchemist at any event, because I'm conducting the energy like a musical conductor that leads an orchestra. I work with the invisible energy field of people, spaces, and of the whole event, turning the guiding the energy so it flows in the best way possible. But guess what? Guess what? I want you to just think about it. Guess what? You're an energy conductor too, because it just happens, right? So I want you to think about how you move your energy, balance your energy, manage your energy, and most of all, how you change the vibrational field of your energy. Sound good? Getting that energy thing. So I'm so happy for you, because that's the hottest thing going right now, is that. And then also about energy healings. So let's go. Let's jump right into the next segment, but let's take some water, please. You know I'm a water pusher. I'm the breath pusher every day on the stories on Facebook and Instagram. Check it out. You come on over, and I'll remind you that I love you, and that you should take some water, and you should take a big deep breath. So let's just jump right in right now, because this next segment is about the 30 seconds, and I promised you in 30 seconds or less that we would do a clinic clean. So take a deep breath, and let's take it right out of the diaphragm right here. Breathe in, and the diaphragm comes out, comes out, comes out. Breathe out again, and beautiful. That's a diaphragmatic breath. If you want more, go to my YouTube channel and put diaphragmatic breath, and you'll learn how to do that. So take another deep breath, and now let's remove, release, and let go of any and all energies, vibrational frequencies, belief systems, or ancestral energies that no longer serve. Take a deep breath, take a deep breath, clap it out, 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 clap it out. Pick up your feet, pick up your feet, pick up your feet, because we get everything from Mother Earth. Remember, we're all connected. Beautiful, beautiful, and take a breath. And thank you, everybody on the chat fingers that are getting back to me saying, oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my gosh, I love this. So good. You're feeling clearer and one connection to the whole. That's just beautiful, because then those divine wisdoms will come in. And just to remind you that, these are my upcoming events. Go ahead and take that QR code, bam, and you can check out what's coming up virtually and in person. If you want that book, go ahead, because I'd love to go with you. And of course, you love the song. You heard my song at the beginning, so go ahead and check that out. And of course, I am a Reiki master for almost 30 years doing this, so I'm so excited. So go ahead and take some pictures of that. But let's just jump right back in right now to the next, which is the spirit animal, which is the magpie. And you may like go, Angel, why did she do the magpie? Well, the magpie is powerful. It really is. And when it comes to visit you, the magpie is all about, now here's a fun fact, okay? Here's a fun fact about the magpie. It can recognize itself in the mirror. I mean, isn't that cool? It can recognize itself in the mirror. There are only a few non-mammal species known that passes the mirror test, a sign of self-awareness. And the studies show that they have been observed checking out and even trying to remove stickers placed on their feathers that they could see only in their reflection. Isn't it a beautiful bird? Now it shows up for you today, and it's showing up, so make certain you are using your intuitive and psychic gifts with pure intention and ego-less service. Now you call upon the magpie when you are studying metaphysics and you're diving deep into spirituality and want some support, guidance, and protection. So, with that being said, if it's your power animal, now a lot of people want to know, what's my power animal? What are they? That is if you are quite willful. And once you set your mind to something, very little can stop you. And isn't that the truth to so many of you light workers that are watching today, is once we set our mind to something, I just love that, right? Because it's so powerful to go. So we're gonna jump back over, and we're gonna give you the beauty of the quote today. And on the quote, well, let's jump over to the spotlight moment, because I want to hear this spotlight moment from this beautiful lady, Jennifer, who will be on next week, and we'll be talking about energy mastery. But here, let's check her out.
Go. Hey everybody, I am Jennifer Lonberg, and I am so excited to be coming to you on Energize You TV with Angel Marie. Her energy is contagious, her show is amazing. We're going to be uplifting you, and we're going to be talking about some really important things when it comes to being empathic and having energy, and being able to, instead of feeling drained from your gifts, learning how to harness them, how to embody them, and how to really become better at managing the energy, working with the energy, and actually enjoying the energy. So join me with Angel on her amazing platform. She brings so many great things to the table, you guys. So if you haven't seen her show, go see it. And definitely catch the show that we'll be doing soon, when we're talking about empaths, energy, and bringing the best to you when it comes to learning how to be an empath in this current energy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that spotlight moment. And there is Jennifer's website if you want to check her out before we start. So excited for her to come on next week. So let's jump back into the next segment. We did the animal segment, and now, oh, I just love this one. You don't need to find your light. You're already wired for it. You just need to flip the switch. So I want you to flip the switch, because emotional, that's what we're going to be talking about, is that today, about the emotional intelligence. So very powerful to talk about that. So you know what? We've got one more commercial message, but you know what? I promised you that we would talk about a crystal. So we're going to be right back after this message, and we will, excuse me, talk about the crystals. Be right back.
Traditional business cards are often lost or forgotten. This can lead to missed opportunities and wasted time and money. Java Logics offers a unique solution. Eco-friendly paperless business cards that are easy to update and share. With our QR code, you can share your card with anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's the easiest way to share your details. Interested in getting one? Click on Get Offer and get your own digital business card today.
So please go ahead and check out my digital business card because it is stellar and Preston does an amazing job out of Canada. So go ahead and take that QR code. That's where we're going. So call him and tell him, hey, I want the angel discount, and he'll give it to you. So let's dive right into the next segment. And the next segment is the crystal segment. Everybody loves this one, and it's a rhodonite today. And that rhodonite, here's a fun fact about the rhodonite, is that the ancient travelers in Russia carried rhodonite for protection against danger, and it also burst their self-assurance on the journey. And you know what? The other thing is I love rhodonite because it helps me and my clients to balance their healing. And it's a wonderful way at my VIPs sessions. I put a crystal layout around people. They just love it. And that's one of my favorite ones to do. And, it helps with anxiety and self-doubt and past traumas. And my Reiki students love this one because it's a great choice for enhancing self-love and compassion. And it's believed to heal and detox the liver, the lungs, and the heart, and the nervous system. Biggie, biggie, biggie. So let's move right into, look at this. Isn't it a gorgeous one? And it is really powerful for even the use for first aid. And as we move over, and I always tell you that I'm going to talk about the element, and today's element is hydrogen. And yeah, I'm the water pusher, so here's a fun fact. It's the lightest and most abundant chemical element in the universe. And by 1906, people were using hydrogen to fill balloons. That's interesting. Like, going on a balloon ride. I went on one. Have you ever been on one? I have. So let's go jump in because this is an important one because the spiritual contents. So the hydrogen is the primary fuel that powers stars like our sun and causes them to shine and radiate light and heat. By studying the simplicity of hydrogen, scientists developed our understanding of quantum physics. I love that because I'm always talking about that. And the hydrogen is the third most abundant element in Earth's surface, mostly in the form of chemical components such as water. Like the Earth, we are literally made up of stardust. You've heard that before, haven't you? I always laugh at that, but you've heard it before, that we're just stardust, and we really are, because water is a critical molecule in the human body, and the hydrogen is one of the two elements in water. So the body relies on water for hydration, cellular function, and toxic removal. It's really important, guys. I can go on and on about the human cells and how it enters the body and how that water is, but I just really want to look at you and tell you I love you so much. Drink your damn water. Did I say it? I said drink your damn water. And that means that my timer goes off every 15 minutes. I don't put it on the show anymore because people are saying it bugged them. Drink your water. I just love you that much because it's so important. It helps with anti-inflammatories. When I don't drink enough, I hurt even more. So we don't want that to happen to you at all. So if you want to learn more, get with me and I'll tell you more about that. But let's move to the next segment because I'm so excited to bring on our guest. But I want you to also know that I see you. I celebrate you. I love you, and you're raising the consciousness of the world by being here, smiling, sharing this out to everyone, and being you in that positive way. So I want to just know that I see you. So we're getting ready to bring on the amazing. Here we go, the amazing. Stefani, there we go. One more thing, yes, and we're going to be bringing her on. So here we go. Where is she? There she is. Okay. Welcome to the show. Hi, Stefani.
Hey, Angel. Hey, viewers. How's it going? So great to be here.
So happy that you are. I've been looking forward to this all week. So let's just dive right in, right? To who, I've known you for years. I love you. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, Right. So I'm in the upper Midwest of the United States in Minnesota. That's sometimes my accent comes out. And I've been born and raised here. I love living in Minnesota, the home of over 10,000 lakes. So if you are you're a water lover, right? You love water. Minnesota is a great place to be. So I love it. I'm here with my family and my friends, and I enjoy the lakes in the summer. I do a water ski show in the summer. So I take every advantage of living in Minnesota and the 10,000 lakes.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I do love, and I even like the love the lakes here. So I'm gonna have to come visit you. I'm definitely just to go. Okay, let's go lake and let's do this.
I'd love it.
Love it, love it, love it. So let's just dive in right now because I met you and I just adore you. And I loved how you're an expert. You're really an expert at this communication. And I really like this quote is you say that self-awareness is emotional compass of your emotional intelligence. What does that mean?
Yeah, self awareness, because you can regulate what you're not aware of. So that's one of the first key components of emotional intelligence is self awareness, is just being able to really recognize our emotions. And it helps you once you can recognize your own emotions. That's how you're going to be able to communicate and help out with other people when different situations arise. So every day, just being aware when those emotions we talk about, when we get really upset, even when we get excited, all of those things, being aware of those emotions are so important.
Beautiful. And I love this one because you've said this before. Emotional intelligence relates to the capacity for people to perceive, comprehend, and control emotions in everyday life to improve the quality of interpersonal cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So just, really thinking about your own emotions, right? How are you feeling? How we can control them and being aware of it. And that's why I love the subject of emotional intelligence is just like you talk about raising that vibration and how we can control it, how we can be aware of it, how we can regulate it, use them in social skills, motivation, and even empathy.
Oh, yeah, it's so powerful, isn't it, to really be
Yes.
able to communicate and to be in that place. So I really love this. And another one was that I really liked was the more emotionally intelligent you become, the more magnetic you become.
Right. Yes, because people will understand that that's such a again, it's all of the five components of emotional intelligence. But when you are aware of that, and you can empathize with people better, you can have more compassion, those social skills. Whether you're a leader in a corporation or just in your family, in any of your relationships, when you are aware of that, and people will pick up on that, right? And they'll see that you're emotionally aware and be able to help other people and support them through emotions that they're going through, whether it's happy, sad, or whatever that might be.
And that just goes right into line. I mean, you coach people all the time on helping them to really step into the leadership role,
Mm-hmm.
which is emotional intelligence. And it's interesting because one of the studies, which it kind of put me back, I was kind of like, what does this really mean? So a leader's emotional intelligence accounts for as much as 70% of the variation in individual engagement scores. And other research shows found the same of teams.
Right.
I didn't really understand because you're talking about leaders.
Right. Yeah. As a leader, it's really important to understand when, I worked in corporate America for 25 years, and we know a lot of times in organizations, even in small businesses and companies, things happen. There's changes that come about. There's things that are in our control and things that are not in our control. Right. And so it's really important as a leader to not only, again, be aware of your emotions and regulate them, but also rise up in those times of challenge and in adversities and struggles and be able to lead your team through that. And again, it's all right. It's okay to say, you know what? Wow, this is stressful. This is emotional. This is overwhelming. But that's where you can stand up and rise through that. And that's where your team and the people that you're leading will want to stick with you because they see that human aspect of you, right? And understanding that, okay, they get it. It's emotional, it's stressful, but you can learn to stand up in that adversity, regulate your emotions, be aware of it, and continue to press on.
Well, that's beautiful. I love that. I just do. And it goes right in line with how do you, because another thing is self awareness helps you understand the underlying main reason why you feel angry, frustrated, sad, all of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you tell viewers is how do you practice that self awareness? Just maybe one or two things.
Yeah, absolutely. One, it's just really being aware, right? So when you have those moments, take a moment and just write it down, right? What am I feeling in this moment? Why am I feeling this anxious, this feeling in my gut? We know that about energy in the universe, right? If my heart's pumping, my gut is telling me something, what's going on, right? Write that down so that you can be aware of what's going on. And ask yourself, what's causing me to feel this way? Is it a conversation I had with somebody? Is it a situation that's going on in my life that I don't have control over? Or maybe I do have control over? But really think about that and just kind of asking yourself, what's causing these feelings? Why am I feeling this way? And then make a note of it so that once those feelings come up, you can be like, okay, I get it. This is kind of a trigger for me when I hear this sound, or I talk with this person, or I have to go into this meeting or go to this event. Ooh, something about that doesn't make me feel good. And so really being aware of when you're feeling that and then writing that down really helps kind of solidify it, lock it in, right? Where is this coming from, so that we can help be more aware of it and then learn to regulate it.
Yes, yes. And that kind of goes right into this other research. It was really interesting about empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's two different, there's cohesive energy and effective. Cohesive? Was it cohesive?
Cognitive
Cognitive.
empathy and effective empathy.
She knows how to talk, Angel. See, there you go. So, but I wasn't understanding there's two key elements, but what does that look like?
Yeah. So cognitive empathy is understanding what others are thinking and feeling. And then that effective empathy is actually feeling what others are experiencing, right? So the cognitive is we can understand it. We could empathize with somebody, what they're going through, if they've suffered a loss or a change, or, you mentioned an illness, not feeling good, right? We can empathize with that. But then effective empathy is where we've actually felt that, right? I felt that loss. I know what that pain looks like. I was let go from my job. I can empathize with people who were let go from a corporation, being eliminated. That's a tough pill to swallow when you're told you're no longer needed. And you put your heart and soul into something, right? So I can effectively empathize with people who've been in that situation. I, suffered the loss of my mom at a young age. So I can empathize with people that have, suffered a death of a loved one. But then the cognitive empathy is maybe I've never experienced that, but I can still feel some, help you with those feelings, recognize those feelings and emotions that you might be going through that would be associated with that type of a pain or loss or change, whatever it might be.
Yes, I beautiful. I love this. Hey, writer downers, everybody, writer downers, viewers. And here's another one, because when I saw her and I was with her, she was speaking on stage. Beautiful speaker, wonderful speaker you are. And you talked about the stop technique. What is stop? STOP. What is that? Can you kind of tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So it's really just, and it comes along with self-regulation, right? We're talking about it. So we have those emotions, right, that are, getting us upset. We're getting, how do we, people say, I'm aware of my emotions, right? But now what do I do? How do I regulate it? How do I control that, right? When I'm getting upset and I'm freaking out, my heart's palpitating, I'm sick to my stomach. What do I do? Bite my nails, pull my hair, poke my eyes out, whatever. Just stop, right?
Just stop.
Yeah.
Just do the stop.
Automatic response, right? Just stop there in the moment. And I love the diaphragm breathing. Take a deep breath. And then, again, go back to that awareness. Why am I feeling this? What's causing this? And then proceed with intention, right? Okay, how can I get through this? I can take a breath. What can I control? What can I not control? Right? But once we just really kind of stop that, the wheels spinning and the heart palpitating, take that breath, find out what's causing this emotion, this, tensity in our heart and our stomach and our mind, and then just, pause and, okay, we can proceed now with intention of how we want to get through the situation. How can we, plan to get through it? I share an example of, I was in mortgage and finance for 25 years in the mortgage lending world. And I just always remember this situation. A customer wasn't truthful in their loan application. And so they were ready to buy this $1 million home and move their family. And then they were no longer qualified for it. And they were blaming me for it because I should have known this information when I was qualifying for them a loan and approving them for a loan. They didn't want to take responsibility for their actions, right? And it was you can imagine that was an extremely difficult conversation because they have moving trucks all packed up and moved and ready to go, sold their home, ready to move into their $1 million home. And guess what? You don't qualify anymore. And I remember that moment, like, oh my gosh, like freaking out. It was a moment of such heightened emotional distress for me. And, not knowing how to respond, what to do. I knew what was causing the pain. But, again, that's where I practice. I came up with, like the stop technique, like, okay, just stop. Stop all this chaos and the busyness and the emailing and the texting. Just stop. Take a breath, right? What's causing this? Where am I feeling this? Why? Okay, calm down. Here's what I can do to resolve this situation, right? And proceed with the intention and just, okay, here's what I can control. Here's what I can do. And here's how I'm going to move forward with it.
Oh, that's weird. So the S is for stop.
Yes.
The T is
take a breath.
Take a breath, the diaphragmatic breath. I love it.
Yes. O is observe the feeling, right? Observe what's going on around us. And then the P is proceed with intention, right? What can I do to proceed to keep moving forward so we're not stuck in this cycle of chaos?
And we all get there. And that comes from inspiration. It comes from motivation. And that's the other thing is that in January 2005 Journal of Leadership and Organization, they had a study that blew me away. 69% of employees would work harder if they felt appreciated by their employers.
Mm-hmm.
That just really gets me, because they also said they would also be 4.6 more times more motivated to produce quality. And if they really felt like what? And that's so apparent. Your voice matters. Yes. That they actually being heard. So being that, because self-motivation is part of this also, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the 5 components of emotional intelligence. And and this is a big one that I get a lot of times is people, okay, Stephanie, how do I stay motivated, right? I have this diagnosis. I'm feeling upset. I don't know, right? And I just don't know how to get up and keep pressing on. And that's another thing that leaders miss in their employees is how to motivate their employees. Everybody's not motivated by the same thing. Everybody's not motivated by just money, just by trips and awards and all that kind of stuff. People have different things that motivate them. So just really the number one thing that all of us want really is what you said, is to be valued, to feel seen, to feel heard and appreciated. We talk about gratitude, so important. And that really can be a simple aspect for motivation, is just that simple gratitude. But one, as a leader, learn to, have simple gratitude and appreciation for your employees, what they bring to the table, and practice, I call it like active listening, right? What's truly going on, really listen. Don't be, on your phone. Look, now everybody's got the Apple Watch, like, they're talking and it's constantly like this. Right? You're not even really truly listening to me. And how can an employee feel valued or heard or seen when that's going on? And that's what motivates me. Sometimes some of us, I teach, the DiSC behavior model, which is the 4 different behavior styles. And the I behavior styles, we like that pat on the back. We want that way to go, girl. You rock. You're awesome. Not everybody needs that, but certain behavior styles really need that. And so understanding that motivation, not only in others, but also what you need. And really just practicing self-motivation is, just waking up in that gratitude for what do we do have, right? One of my things is, the 5 senses. I have breath in my lungs. I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I can taste, I can speak, I can touch, right? think about those simple things that we can be grateful for, right? We might have all kinds of illness and things inside of us, but what are we grateful for, right? I still have two legs that I can get up and walk, and I can drive a car, and I have a vehicle to drive into, right? I have fresh water to wash my face and brush my teeth, and a toilet to go to the bathroom in. I mean, just all of those things. So really that's the motivation, is the gratitude. And then just, even set yourself achievable goals. Sometimes people, they have these big goals and then they think, they get frustrated. Start with something simple, like, hey, if it's living a healthier lifestyle, right? You said, I'm going to start drinking more water. I'm going to hear Miss Angel Marie chirping in my head, and I'm going to just start drinking more. Today's the day I'm going to start drinking water every 15 minutes. Set an alarm on your phone every 15 minutes. Get off your booty, right? Get up, grab some water, and then be good, right? Or today I'm going to give 3 compliments to random strangers. I love doing that, right? You're walking down the street. Hey, love that shirt. I remember when I saw you, right? I was like, woo, you got that energy. I love your hair, your look, your yellow. You can always find something that you like in other people. And so often we don't do that, right? And so that could just be a goal for you, because really showing that gratitude and appreciation for other people will internally lift you up. And so that's something as a leader, really take time to focus on, is if you want to motivate your team, if you're a business owner and you're kind of in a slump, or you're personally in a slump, think about gratitude. What do I have? What's good? And then what are my goals? Set those little micro mini goals. And that's really going to help you stay motivated, because then you get that one little, you start drinking more water. What's next? Maybe it's start going for a walk. Maybe it's just getting up from my desk and walking up and down the stairs 3 times, right? Every little bit helps, and that's what keeps that motivation going. What's the quote by Zig Ziglar? Like, motivation is like bathing. You got to do it daily, right? You're gonna lose it, right? We don't have to just bathe once in a while. We got to bathe all the time. We got to motivate ourselves all the time to keep going and keep moving and stay healthy.
Well, oh my gosh, that was just wonderful. And viewers, that was a lot of writer downers. And the thing is, though, she gave a lot of key points. So I want you to go back to the stop and put into your schedule when you're going to do the stop for maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and go through those things that she just said, because that way it'll raise your energy. So as we move forward, I really like this one, and it was shocking to me. So I have to bring it up, because Fortune 500 companies spend more than ever on benefits and perks, almost $2,500 a year per employee, and it still doesn't work. Now, the same thing can be true, and this is my view, so you tell me, you're the expert on this, is I think it's true that we put a lot of money into ourselves, but sometimes it just doesn't work because we're in that place.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes back to, those social skills, is people want a manager that listens to them, right? So these companies, they spend all this money on all these perks, but that's still, the employee still doesn't feel that they're valued. I did a survey recently. I heard it was a Gallup survey that was done. And then I also did my own poll, just curious, of my LinkedIn connections. I have a massive network on LinkedIn, and I polled my audience, and I said, yes or no, do you believe this statistic was true? Yes or no? That 96% of people leave a manager, 86% of people leave a manager versus their company. Yes or no, right? 86% of people leave a manager over their company. Yes or no? Overwhelmingly, 92% of my audience, I surveyed 20,000 people, 92% of my audience said, yes, that is true. So what does that tell us, right? They leave a manager over the company. So the company, you're right. You can give me all the trips, all the perks, the health benefits, everything. But if my manager doesn't really, give two hoots about what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, that I just lost my dog, or I'm going through a divorce, or maybe I got some exciting, I'm getting married, I just bought a house. They're not celebrating my wins or empathizing with my losses. They're lacking in emotional intelligence. And that's really what it all comes down to, is these companies, it's not all this monetary stuff. We need leaders that are more emotionally intelligent, that they're aware of their, the 5 components, that they're aware of their own emotions. They can regulate them when there's a change or something happens. They're not just flying off the handle. They can regulate those emotions. They have those social skills to be able to connect with their team. They can have a little empathy. You know, we talked about either the cognitive therapy or the assertive empathy, cognitive, and then the motivation, right? How do we, you know, when things are going off the rails, as we know, sometimes I work with a lot of small business owners and companies, and that's why they bring me in, because sales are slumping, things are going off the rails, projections aren't being met, and the owners up in cahoots, and you know, the operations people are blaming the sales people, and the sales people are blaming the operations people, and it's like, oh, that's where that emotional intelligence really comes into play in a company and an organization. And that's where, you know, I love helping them. But not sometimes it's just a person. Sometimes it really can be just that business owner that's not emotionally intelligent. And that's what's causing the problem.
And you know, it's beautiful how you can blend your sales strategies in with your communication expert, and then being a certified DiSC facilitator. It's wonderful. And I know you personally, so I know that you go into these small companies, big corporations, and change the whole dynamics of the whole thing. But can you tell us right now how you do that one-on-one with somebody, and give me, like, they were here, and then once you had that time with them, how did they change?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that question. And it's so exciting, right? When you see the change in people and you see those little tweaks. So I always start, you know, I teach with the DiSC and Agile EQ. They're combined together. So DiSC is about your communication style, right? So I always start with, how do you like to communicate, right? Are you more of a direct, straight to the point person? Are you more that social, outgoing, like me? I always got to tell a story. Are you more cautious, steady, compliant, accurate, you know, cautious, right? So first of all, I always I want individuals to understand yourself, right? How do you communicate? And then also, then how do you receive information? And so one of the things, like in a company, is as a leader or just even as an individual, how are you in, you know, I coach a lot of sales professionals or business owners, right? How are you communicating with your clients to get business? And once you have those clients, how are you communicating with them to build loyalty? And so it's that. And then again, having that emotional intelligence. If you've got an upset client, maybe something went wrong. One of my top clients is in the moving industry, right? There could be things going wrong. We didn't bubble wrap grandma's picture, and now there's a crack in the frame or something. We have to understand that, you know, that's a very, she works in the senior living space, right? And it's tough, right? Because we're moving mom and dad or brother, sister, grandpa, and grandma to an assisted living. And it can be a very emotional, high stakes transaction, or there's a lot of people involved in making that decision. So Kathy was my client, and, you know, beautiful woman-owned company, 19 years in the business. And you know, her sales were kind of slumping. She felt like, well, these larger companies are coming in, and, you know, they're coming in on price, and I can't lower my costs anymore. But, you know, I really want to help these people, and I know that I can move them, you know, carefully and cautiously. She does floor plans for them, helps them with decluttering, all that stuff. When we started working together and she understood her communication style, she was a little bit more of a cautious, passive type person. And she had empathy for these people. She was, but, you know, lost a little bit in that self aware. Like when people were coming at her a little bit strong or a little aggressive, she kind of would tend to stay back a little bit. So through working together, understanding her communication style, that sometimes she needed to get a little uncomfortable and be more direct and straight to the point with some people who communicate that way. And then also being able to regulate her emotions. If something goes wrong or something happens, being able to say, okay, stop, right? Take a breath. What's going on here? Now, how do we proceed? How do we proceed with intention to get this done? So it's really just kind of a whole process, but it starts with knowing yourself. That's why in the 5 components of emotional intelligence, it's self-awareness, right? Being aware and knowing how you communicate. So that's the DiSC style. And then, you know, being aware of your emotions and being able to adapt. So adaptability is a big word that I use often. So we're all wired differently. Right?
Yeah, we're all completely, yeah.
I don't get the woo-woo stuff, right? Well, that's okay. You're not wired to be a woo-woo. That's why angels, yeah. But can I relate to that? Sure. So that's really what we talk about, is everybody is differently wired. And when you can start to recognize that in other people and adapt a little bit, that's where you're going to have a lot more success in your relationships and in sales.
Oh, that's just beautiful. I love all of that. Thank you so much. And those are all writer downers. Good stuff about understanding how you show up. And this has gone really fast, but you know what? Stephanie has a free gift for us. What is that free gift? What is that you're giving away for us today?
Yeah, so it's a practical guide to emotional intelligence, and I did a deep dive. It's don't let it scare you because it's 10 pages long, but it really what we talk about is the five components of emotional intelligence. But with the Agile EQ program, it goes into 8 different mindsets. So it really talks about I break down the five components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills, but then also how you can, some action steps. So a little bit of what I shared with you today, right? How do I become more self-aware? How do I regulate my emotions? Somebody in the comments said, how do I motivate other people, right? So I break it all down for you. And then also share a little bit about the mindsets, because different behavior styles, communication styles also have little different emotional intelligence skills. So you're going to learn about all of that. So it's a great guide. It's a great resource for you. And if you're a leader, to share with your team, your employees.
That's just beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm getting the chat fingers saying thank you so much. And Stephanie, you have been amazing. So many great golden nuggets. And we're up to right now doing the shine. So last words before we go into the song. Anything?
Yeah, just just be emotionally aware. Take time, take a breath, pause, be grateful, be intentional.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you
Sparkle
so
on.
much. And you viewers, you've gotten a major cupful today of great, awesome nuggets. And so we're going to go right into the song and sing the song. Beautiful Stephanie, you know I love my song and I love that you're here. So listen to the words. The words are there for you to connect to. So here we go.
You got ambition, fire and soul. Look within your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want, show them what you got. Take it to the top, don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on.
Raise it, raise
Raise
it.
your vibration. Shine, shine, shine on. Looking for the answers, seeking you will find. Open up your heart, leave it all behind. Smile and laugh, always give back. Glowing like a star, show them who you are. Shine, shine, shine on.
Yeah.
Raise your vibration. Shine, shine, shine on. You're the secret, you're the answer. You know who you are. Look within you, breathe and focus. You're a shining star. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration. Shine,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
shine, shine on. Don't you worry, don't you fake it. Be just who you are. You're the answer to the question. You're that shining star. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration. Shine, shine, shine on. Now that you can see all that you can be, breathe into your heart. Don't you ever stop. Shine,
Thank you, Stephanie. Until I get to see you. Thank you.
raise your
Hello, honey.
vibration. Shine,
Yes.
shine, shine on.
Shine it, shine it. Yes. Woo. Here we go. Taking the breath. Woo. That was fun, wasn't it? Wow, she gave so many great golden nuggets, didn't she? I mean, wow. And her free gift, I'm going to check it out because I want to see what kind of style that I have also, because I think it's important that we always take a note. And it doesn't matter if you've been doing this stuff forever or not. You know what? Take the time to do the education and nurturing of yourself. It will really help you. And again, I want to thank you all for being here because, oh my gosh, you guys, unbelievable, right? And I did promise you something, didn't I? I promised you a personal calibration transmission. So I want you to take a deep breath right now. There you go. Take a deep diaphragmatic breath. And as you take this deep diaphragmatic breath, let that energy come in and start to ground you. And in such a beautiful way. And as it starts to ground, listening to my words, but really feeling my words, feeling the vibrational tone of my words, and how this is coming into your biofield. And science tells us that this energy will come in. And as it's coming in, I'm moving, releasing, and letting go of any and all energies, belief systems, or any kind of ancestral energies or earth energies that no longer serve you. Remove it, release it, and let it go. Take another deep breath. And as you take this deep diaphragmatic breath in, let it calibrate and this transmission of calibration, activation, igniting of your energy. Feel my words, feel my words. And as it's starting to do what? Starting to ground you. It's starting to, your whole nervous system is starting to relax. Beautiful. It's starting to relax. Beautiful. And as it's starting to do this, feel your energy as it's coming down, as it's coming down. And in this beautiful personal calibration transmission, feel my words and go ahead and allow yourself to relax. Beautiful. And it is doing it as we speak, and it's going faster and faster as we speak and changing that vibrational field all around in your biofield. Thank you so much for playing with me on this and this transmission. It's really important. Come back to it whenever you would like. And you know what? I am here every week. So catch the wisdom wave with these amazing guests every Thursday at 11 o'clock. This isn't just a show, it's a movement. It's a global impact because it goes around the world. And you already saw Jennifer earlier on the Spotlight Moment, and she's going to be coming back. She's going to be coming to us next week when she's going to be talking about energy mastery. And she is quite the master, let me tell you. And you know what? Stephanie was so wonderful. She gave you a free gift. Well, you know what? I'd like to give you one too. And that free gift is, I want to hear your story. I want to get to know you. So go ahead and take that picture of that QR code and get on my calendar. I would love, love, love to get to know you. And you know what? Some of you, I see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So just get on it anyway. I'd love to do a Zoom and see you again. So I just love you that much. So go ahead and do that. So again, I'm so happy that you were here. And remember, that calibration that we just did really helps you to hone in what we talked about today. Very powerful. So I want to thank you for being here and to remind you to do what? Change your mindset, ignite your energy, and to shine on. And until I get to see you next time and next week, I love you, and I'll see you.